Greetings, everyone. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. Thanks for checking in here. We've lost another one. It's just kind of the way it goes. One of the great keyboard players of the British progressive rock, jazz rock scene, Mike Ratledge, has left the building. Born Michael Rowland Ratledge, May 6, 1943, in Maidstone, Kent, England. He passes away on February 5th, 2025, at the age of 81. Didn't quite make his 82nd birthday. Of course, best known, play with lots of people, but best known as being a founding member of the classic lineup of Soft Machine way back in the late 60s. The guy on the Fender Rhodes electric piano and Lowrey organ, his kind of jagged, distorted tones permeated all those classic early Soft Machine records through their initial psychedelic rock leanings to becoming more of this weird mix of prog and jazz rock. Right, it's kind of what they were known for. It was also counted as part of the Canterbury scene, based on geography and where they were at, although sounding very, very different than their contemporaries. Hatfield in the North, Matching Mole, National Health, and whatnot. Very keyboard driven. Obviously had a huge, huge part of their sound, from the early quirky stuff to the more just really dense and almost free jazz leanings around the middle of the catalog there. Or, well, early part of the catalog, starting towards the middle. And play with lots of different people throughout the in the prog and jazz rock scene over the years. He officially left Soft Machine in 1976, although kind of popped back here and there throughout the ensuing years. But his last time as a full-time member of the band was right after the Bundles record. So by the time the Softs album came out, he was no longer in the band, although he contributed a little bit to that album. We'll get to that in a second. So let's take a look here at some of the albums that he appeared on. So first of all, you got Soft Machine, Volume 1 and 2. This is definitely their more psychedelic period. Again, lots of stuff going on here. Very, very different. Just two covers here. Very different music on these albums compared to what you would see going forward, starting especially with the third album. And that would be, and of course, Hugh Hopper, Elton Dean, John Marshall, all these folks in the Soft Machine. Great, great band. Here you've got the great third album. Now, I fully get that this album might not be for everyone. I absolutely love this album. But it's a heavy-duty, dissonant jazz rock record. Not at all the more quirky psychedelic stuff than what came before. And here, of course, you got Ratledge on organ and piano, Hugh Hopper on bass, Robert Wyatt on drums and vocals, Elton Dean on sax. Right, you got some violin and flute, various other people playing on here. Jimmy Hastings is on here, but here is the kind of like that early lineup of the band. Of course, you got those little Robert Wyatt vocalizations from time to time. A very, very influential record, and again, maybe I'll love it or hate it with some fans, but the hardcore Soft Machine fans love this record. It's just really, really good. Got more of kind of the same, maybe not quite as intense as that on the fourth and fifth album. There's a 2-on run right here. You would start to see some changes in the lineup of the Soft Machine over the course of the here. So here we've got Ratledge, Wyatt, Dean, and Hopper still on these, but of course Roy Babington joins the fray right about now. You got various people on horns and things like that, and Babington, of course, would be a member of the band going forward. Got John Marshall hooking up with the band right around this time. Great stuff, but to me, up until like Alan Holdsworth joins the band, we'll get to him in a couple minutes. The main soloists in the band were Ratledge's organ, electric piano, and Dean's sax. That mainly was what you got, and Ratledge would go off on all sorts of jaunts within the confines of the Soft Machine music. A lot of times very chaotic. Like I said, he would get these really distorted, fuzzy tones on the organ as well as on the electric piano. It's basically, almost like avant-garde jazz at times. Great, great player. Never got the recognition he deserves. We've also got, so this is the sixth album, right? More cool stuff here. And then you got album number 7. Again, these are all kind of cut from a similar cloth. They're all very much rooted in jazz rock. You can call it prog as well. You can call it Canterbury, whatever you want, but just kind of oftentimes chaotic. A lot of jamming, a lot of experimentation, just really, really different stuff. And, for the time, definitely something different. And you can credit a lot of what was going on with this band to what Mike Ratledge brought to the table. And it really wasn't until the Bundles album where you basically got Babington on bass, Holdsworth, they're bringing Alan Holdsworth on guitar. Carl Jenkins here now is also in the band. Carl, of course, contributes oboe and I believe some flute, saxophone, and electric piano. You got John Marshall on drums and percussion, and Mike Ratledge on electric piano, organ, and starting to play a little synthesizer here. This is much, much more of a straight fusion record. Of course, bringing Holdsworth into the fray kind of allowed that to happen. Of course, Holdsworth at this point in time is just, Mr. Session guy in demand, playing with Soft Machine. You got Gong, Tony Williams' Lifetime. It's got some solo stuff happening, right? Jean-Luc Ponty, right? It's popping up all over the place, soon to be UK, and Bill Bruford, right? Everywhere. If it's fusion, he's showing up. But here you've got a little bit more refined playing from Ratledge and allowing a little bit more solo space, right, to Holdsworth for the first time now having guitar in the band. Great, great album. Very different from these. And then, of course, Holdsworth would leave. Ratledge basically would leave as well. And for the softs lineup, you got Babington on guitar. John Etheridge comes in to replace Holdsworth. You got Carl Jenkins on piano, electric piano, pianette, Moog synthesizers and things. John Marshall, Alan Wakeman on saxophone, and then Mike Ratledge basically here as a guest on this album, playing a little bit of synthesizer on 2 tracks. So this particular record, the Softs record, basically sees the exit of Mike Ratledge from Soft Machine. But if you're a fan, if you're a collector, and you've been following this band all these years, you know that there's tons and tons and tons of very cool live stuff. And Cuneiform Records, you have to thank Steve Feigenbaum, being a big Soft Machine fan, has really done a great job at releasing and reissuing from the vault all sorts of great Soft Machine live stuff from throughout the years. So here, I'll just show off a bunch here. And if you really want to hear Mike Ratledge, the keyboard player, in his element, you've got to listen to the live recordings. That's really where it's at. So here you got some, cool stuff here. This is stuff recorded in 1971, Drop album. Here you got some later stuff, okay, where he appears. Like I said, this is from Radio Bremen, 1975. You got some stuff from 76 on here, so various lineups here. You got this particular release right here. This is NDR Jazz Workshop from Hamburg, Germany, 1973. Really, really good. What else we got here? This is Live in Paris, May 2nd, 1972. So here you got the lineup of Dean, Hopper, Marshall, and Ratledge. This is a really good one. Switzerland, 1974. Hot, hot stuff right here. Marshall, Babington, Ratledge, Jenkins, and Holdsworth. Killer. Here's the backwards collection. This was from 1970 and 1969, so a little bit more of the earlier psychedelic period. Here's the Greeds. This was recorded in 1970 at the Netherlands. And then the Middle Earth Masters. This is really early stuff from 1967, 1968. So this is the early psychedelic period. So lots of, and there's more. I don't have all of it. I got a lot of Soft Machine stuff, but there's definitely more than this. Like I said, the studio records are fantastic. But if you really want to hear all that Mike Ratledge was all about, you really need to go and check out the live stuff, because he just goes off into all sorts of places that other keyboard players were afraid to do. And again, it's bridging the gap between prog rock, Canterbury prog rock, jazz rock, and avant-garde jazz, even free jazz at times. Very, very cool stuff. And it's kind of cool hearing the keyboard as like a lead instrument along with sax and Mike just adding all sorts of effects and things onto his organ and his electric piano, and making both those instruments do all sorts of wacky stuff, right? That's kind of what it's all about. A true innovator, a guy, great keyboard player that, like I said, I think is very underrated when you're talking about great keyboard players in this era. And he has left us, like I said, at the age of 81. Mike Ratledge. Go out and listen to your Soft Machine records today. Pay tribute to the man. A truly great one. And he's up there jamming with his former comrades in Soft Machine, who we've lost a few of them. So may he rest in peace. Thanks for watching. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together, all the damn time. See you soon here. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Rest in peace to the great Mike Ratledge. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.